This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net. It is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn. And where is John DiNallo?
He's invisible. We have an invisible co-host this week.
Okay, well,
that'd be fun to do.
Hopefully he'll show up.
Yes. So we're counting on it. Yes. Thank you, Karen. Hi, I'm Paul Seaburn. You're a host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news game, weird news show, not a game. Not a game, it's real, okay? Don't tune us out because if I said game. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. This is the place we hope you come to every week for some fun news. You know, we were just talking about this a second ago. No, nothing political, no bad news, no weather news, none of that. Nothing controversial of that nature. We want you to come to What in the World to hear some strange stories from around the world. All real. I'm the editor and head writer at mysteriousuniverse.org, and I use that platform to find all these weird stories from everywhere. Even outer space. You know, we occasionally have stories from outer space. None this week, but not that I didn't try. So, and my co-host and our producer is Karen Hale. She is the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, which is our platform. Please go to visit them. There's a click across the top on the podcast bar, and you'll find out how to download What in the World. We're on all the platforms. We're free. If you want to see what we look like, we're on YouTube. I do occasionally have photographs that go along with some of the stories. I got some today, just to let you know. And it's always fun to take a look at those. So if you are watching live, thank you for joining in on a Tuesday afternoon at 3:30. And otherwise, look at us in the future, and we'll talk to you then. So Karen, as always, as I always say, I thought last week's stories were the weirdest I'd ever seen, and then this week rolled around. So we've got some very strange, unusual, and local weird news.
Wow.
And when I say local, for those of you who haven't listened to us before, we are in the Northeast Ohio area. All three of, I forgot to mention John. How soon we forget.
He's not here.
He's not here. But for our regular listeners, John DiNallo is our host of What in the World of Sports, and also our trivia guru and all-around good guy. He is having technical difficulties, so we're hoping that he'll join us shortly. If not, I'm sure we'll see him next week, or as soon as his wife comes home and fixes the computer for him. So
Poor
anyway,
guy.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. He's not the only one, like I guarantee. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. So let's take a look and see what what did I say? We're in the Northeast Ohio area, in the Brecksville, North Royalton, Sagamore Hills area south of Cleveland. So if you want to look us up on the map, just don't come and stalk us, but that's kind of where we live. If the men in black are tuning in, erase all that. We don't come after it. I don't have it. Well, I guess I do have a UFO story for it. Oh, well, let's get right into what we're talking about. So I mentioned we have a great local news story. A strange animal has been seen in the Cleveland area. I've got some warnings from a time traveler from so far in the future, you can't imagine why he would waste his time coming back to 2022. But he has this big warning for us, so we'll find out about that. A snake you don't want to meet on a plane. This is for you, Karen. I know you don't like weird animals. Well, you may run into this one of these days, and you'll find out why when we get to the story. It's been on the national news. I was one of the first people to break this story at Mysterious Universe. The world's best UFO photograph has been released. It's been hidden for 30 years. It's finally been released. I'm going to show you a picture of it, give you the history of it, and also a very unusual television connection that it has. So we'll find out about that. Poor Bigfoot Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. I just found out this week that they're being affected by climate change. So just like all the rest of us, yeah, pretty shocking.
Yeah, that's sad too, though.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So we're going to talk about that. Maybe we'll have a little fundraiser for Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster in case they have to move, if there's any flooded out or something. Let's see what else we have. More odd news and trivia, some strange sports, and then at the end of the show, we always play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff the Co-host. Oh, everybody loves Bluff the Co-host. Even Las Vegas, there's a line on Bluff the Co-host in Las Vegas. So if you want to do some betting is allowed. So let's get right to these stories here. Lots of animal stories today for everybody out there. Starting with a strange animal story in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I'll say Northeast Ohio area. This is a local one. This is from Brewster, which is a village in Stark County, which is southwest of Cleveland. It's actually a little past Massillon, for those of you who are following us on the map. It's not a Bigfoot story, although some people said it might have been a Bigfoot story. It's a big leg story, let's put it that way. And let's get right to it for those of you tuned in. So the police in Brewster started getting calls late over the weekend, I believe it was. That first, Karen mentioned this to me before, that reminded me that they were getting calls that there was a Bigfoot in the area. People were seeing Bigfoot. They were especially finding Bigfoot footprints. So
Right.
of course, the police get involved and they go rushing out as they do whenever there's a Bigfoot call in Ohio. And somebody actually got a photograph of the Bigfoot. And you know how we always like to talk about how the Bigfoot photographs are blurry and you can't tell what they are. Well, guess what? This was a clear, crystal clear, ready to identify photograph of what these people saw. And, we didn't check to make sure our photo thing is working here. I hope it is.
I guarantee you it is.
All right. So what in the world photos? There's our first photo. There's the Bigfoot in Brewster, Ohio. For those of you who can't see it, it's a Bigfoot with a long pointed nose, two very large hind legs, a long tail, and looks strangely like a kangaroo. Because that's what it is. Somebody lost their kangaroo. Now, the original story, the first story that the police report, and they sent out an APB. I saw a news release that they sent out. They really took this seriously. They got two reports. One was of an adult kangaroo, and another was of a baby kangaroo. So as they began to talk to witnesses, and there were a ton of witnesses, it's like this kangaroo was everywhere in the area. These kangaroos, I should say, until they got an expert to come in and take a look at the photographs. And the expert said, no, that's not a kangaroo, that's a wallaby. The wallaby, is a smaller version of the marsupial kangaroo. So that's why they think that people thought they were seeing a baby and an adult, because the wallaby is smaller. They think it's just one animal that escaped someone's pet. Now, Karen, who keeps a pet wallaby in Ohio? I don't know any.
I'm amazed. I thought maybe it got out of the Akron Zoo or something, but they don't even have that many animals.
No, that would be the closest zoo. I don't think that. No, it's there, and they have security. They have cameras. They have high fences. Zoos don't lose animals. Normally, when there's one of these stray animals, it's from somebody who kept it as a pet. So don't do that. But anyway, State Route 93. If you're in the area that the marsupial that the wallaby was seeing is in the State Route 93 area, and that would be north-south street going through Brewster. Don't get too close, is what they said. Don't get too close. They said some people got close, and all of a sudden they thought they were missing their watch and their wallet, and they wanted the police to look at the pouch. The kangaroo didn't steal anything from you. Okay, you lost it yourself. Don't go trying to or blame it on someone else. And, and for those of you who are getting weird ideas, wallaby meat does not make good kielbasa. So just leave it alone, let it run around, let the experts come in and safely catch it, do whatever they have to do and get it back to a safe place. And it, so it's not Bigfoot. So, Karen, we talk something, I say that we stay away from problems, and we stay away from the problem news.
Right.
But this is one from New York. And I like to tell people, if you think you got problems, just talk to somebody else. Someone else always has worse problems than you do.
You are so right.
That's right. And if you live in New York, you already have a problem. If you live in New York. But these people, they have blown a simple little thing into this national news item where they want people to feel sorry for them because of this incident. Now, what they're complaining about is that the squirrel population in New York City, around Central Park, around Brooklyn, all the boroughs, the squirrels are doing something that they don't understand. And what they're doing is something called splooting. Now, that sounds dirty.
Yeah, it does.
No, we're not. Don't worry. Don't put your hand on the censor button, Karen. We're not
Okay.
gonna talk about anything duty. But it's my duty to talk about splooting. But splooting is not dirty. Oh, wow. I got all that out. So they were people were calling 911 and they said, we're looking out the window and there's a squirrel splooting in our yard. And it's just the police don't know what to do. So they had to call someone, a wildlife expert, to find out what it is that these people are talking about, that their squirrels are splooting. Here's a photo, splooting squirrel right there. Now, that particular squirrel is flat, laying flat on its stomach, as flat as it can possibly be, with its legs, hind legs spread out, its tail pointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a way that squirrels keep cool when it's hot. That's yeah. Isn't that's pretty clever, I would say. Wouldn't you say that, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the but why are people worried about this? That nobody cares about squirrels. If we didn't have squirrels, we'd have more nuts. Think about it. Everybody would be
Yeah, they steal all the nuts.
They steal all the nuts. They steal your bird seed. The birds would be happy. Humans would be happy. They're worried that something is on the ground. Now they never call. If they see a person on the ground, like they don't call if there's a person on the ground. But they see a squirrel flat on the ground. Oh, they're calling 911 right and left. So so this is a splooting squirrel. So this is such a controversy in New York that the New York Department of what are they called? The Parks Department. They're responsible for all the parks, including Central Park. They had to get on Twitter to explain to people that this is a normal thing. Mammals, that would be squirrels, dogs, people, have less fur on their bellies, I guess, not all of us, compared to the rest of their body. So on hot days, the animals lie flat on their stomach against something cool, and the cool surface has an easy access to the rest of their body to cool them off. Sounds legitimate to me. I would think everybody else felt the same way. Squirrels are not the only animals who do it. Here's a picture of a cute little puppy.
Aww.
Isn't that nice? Different angle there.
Yeah.
And the squirrel. But nonetheless, it's a cute little puppy. But I had dogs that would do that on a cold linoleum or tile floor. So now we know what splooting is. What terrible name. Terrible name for it, right? Splooting.
Yeah.
Who came up with this name? I couldn't find an origin for it. But there's a guy, his name is Don Blumstein. Don is a professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at UCLA. So they didn't just go to a local vet clinic. They went to UCLA to get the final word on splooting. And what this guy
Wow.
done, yeah, how about that? So this guy done, Bloomstein, the evolutionary biologist, he says that if you don't want to call it splooting, call it what he called it, which is doing the rug, which also sounds dirty.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
Not quite as bad as splooting, but it does sound dirty as well. So he calls it doing the rug because he says the animals look like they're a bear rug or a lamb.
Oh,
You know those rugs that hunters used to make out of animal skins back when hunting was more acceptable. Let's say that.
right.
And you could invite people over and show them your bear rug. Or you could show them your bare butt on your bare rug. You know, there are people who got into that as well. Not me, of course.
Of course not. No.
No, and not any of our listeners, I'm sure. So, so anyway, so that's the splooting story for the week. I just caught my attention. Splooting. What the heck is that? And then I was sorry I asked. But as I mentioned, things could be worse, and the times could be worse. And this is we like to talk about time travelers on What in the World, mostly because they're so absurd. You know why would someone travel from many years in the future just to 2020 to tell us that somebody's going to get superpowers? Or last week, not this particular time traveler, but another one that I was following, he came back from the year 2090, he claims, and said that on August 14th, there would be a major hurricane that would destroy the entire east coast of the United States. Now, if I just took a look at my calendar to make sure, today is August 16th. Do you remember seeing about
happened. Yeah.
It must have happened. It happened in a parallel universe. You know, that's their out. Oh, it was in a parallel universe. So not this guy. Now this guy I like right off the bat because he's from 2000. He's from 2906, 900 years into the future. He decides to come back to 2022 to pay us a visit and warn us about the worst thing that's about to happen in 2022. Now, I know all of you can think of terrible things that you certainly don't want a time traveler to come back and tell us. Things about politics, things about the weather, all those terrible things that we don't normally talk about. So guess what? I'm not going to talk about anything like that. Here's what he came to warn us about. He said that on October 8th, 2022, that's, let's see, August, September, October, 2 months from now, October 8th, 2022, a zombie pig will escape from a laboratory and it will infect 60% of all the pigs in the United States. So they will all become zombies. So 60% of the pigs in the United States will become zombies. You know what you call that many pigs that become zombie? A zombie porkopolis. That's what it's a lot of pigs walking around like they're dead. But so you might say, Karen, and those of you out there in podcast land, well, that's absurd. No, there's no such thing as a zombie pig. Guess what? There is. And I don't think we talked about this last week. This was a story last week, a scientific story. I like to talk about scientific stories as well. The story came from Yale, but a legitimate Ivy League university, Yale Medical School. They're doing research on pigs, so they euthanized some pigs. And they said they did it painlessly. So before the PETA people start calling us to complain, they euthanized and the pigs were dead for an hour. After an hour, they began circulating a fluid through their system, and all of a sudden, the organs of the pigs started to come back to life. The liver came back, the kidney came back, the heart came back. The heart was actually beating, which to me, except for the brain, they said the brain didn't come back. So that would be a zombie pig. It wasn't able to walk, but it was certainly had many bodily function. So what scared me about that is that I happen to like bacon. And I don't want my bacon to be sitting on my plate or worse, about to hit the skillet and all of a sudden jump up and say, "Hey, I'm alive, I'm alive." This is scary news. So that's what this guy is predicting. He's predicting comes 900 years in the future. He comes back and he says, "You guys got to be ready for this. This is the worst thing that's going to happen. Zombie pigs on October 8th. Be ready." Why? Why? That's what I want to know. I wish I could ask him why. So I'm thinking, what 900? What does 900 years in the future look like? I wish he would come back and tell me what's going on in 2906. I noticed John's name is up here. John, can you hear us? I guess not. Okay. No, he just disappeared here again. So I go to my expert on the future. My expert on the future, there's actually two of them. Their names are Zagar and Evans. Now, do you know what I'm talking about, Karen, when I mentioned the name Zagar and Evans?
No.
I'll give you a hint. You're in the right age group to know.
Oh, thanks.
I'll give you a hint. They were a singing duo, and they're a one-hit wonder singing duo. Back in 1969, they had a song, a hit song that once I say it, it will be an earworm to you for the rest of the day. A hit song about time travel. And they went from 1969 to the year 2525. Then they went to the year 30.
Well, now it's starting to sound familiar, but I can't think of the name.
There you go. The year 2525 by Zagar and Evans. It was not only are they a one-hit wonder, but they were a one-hit wonder in two different countries. That song was number one on Billboard in the United States for 3 weeks. And
wow.
Number one on Billboard in the United Kingdom for a number of weeks. Only song ever to be number one, to be a one-hit wonder, number one in both of those countries.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, okay. So they told us what's going to happen in the year 2525. You remember what's going to happen in the year 2525?
I'm going to have another birthday.
You don't want to be near that many candles. Let's put it that way.
Oh.
400 some birthday. 400 some candles. 500 candles. Nothing happened in 2525. They said in the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can't survive, they may find. And then they don't tell you what you would find. They go right to the year 3535. What a frustrating song this is. And they hear 3535, then they start to tell you, okay, you ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lie. Everything you think, do, and say is in the pill you took today. Well, big deal. You know what?
Yeah.
Everything I did today is in the whole handful of pills I took this morning. You know what? I don't have to wait till 3535 to do that. Do you, Karen? I know you.
No.
Your pill cabinet probably looks like mine. We're all taking pills every day. This is
absolutely
news. Yeah. So the big revolutionary thing that in 3535 is in the pill. Okay, so you're going to be able to take one pill. Didn't they ever hear of one a day, multiple vitamins? One a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, one a day vitamins have been around since 1940. Take one, and that's the only pill you need to take all day. So I happened to look these guys up. One a day was made to start in 1940 by Miles Laboratories, which was one of the big vitamin pill producers, pill butchers back in 1940. Now owned by Bayer, the Bayer company. So that's what they said. Take this pill a day, and you don't have to take anything else. You know how many one a day pills they have now? 15. So it's no longer one. Now there's a one a day pill for every different person.
Absolutely.
State, every age. Depending on the weather, they've got a one a day pill. If it's raining, if it's sunshine, they've got it. They mastered this scam, and that's what it is. It's a scam, people. It's a scam. You need more than one vitamin a day.
Yes, you do.
I'll get down off my. They even have. They even have gummy vitamin, gummy one a day. Who can eat one gummy? That's what I want to know.
I can't.
No, I think it's a
I go
mistake.
through a jar just, doing my show.
I don't know. John, are you there? I don't hear it. I still don't hear a voice. He's trying. For those of you who are listening and waiting for John, yeah, and I know there's at least one of you out there waiting for John to come on. He's trying. We can see signals.
He is.
He's coming. He's like the guy.
Oh, he left again.
Oh no, he's like the guy from the year 2900. He keeps coming in, attempting to help us out. But okay, so while we're waiting for John again, let's get out of the year 2900 and get into one of the weird things that you're going to run into in the year 2022. Now,
Okay.
there's a guy, and I couldn't find what city he's from, but he's an inventor. And he felt bad for snakes. Now, do you ever feel bad for snakes, Karen? You're not.
No,
no,
not at all.
No, you're not. Normally, I don't want to bother snakes. I don't want to kill snakes. I don't want to run over them. But I don't feel bad for them. So this guy feels bad for snakes. Why does he feel bad for them? Because they have no legs. I guess he thinks they should be able to sploot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so they have no legs. So he's an inventor. I think I mentioned that. He's in robotics. So he built what they call an exoskeleton for a snake, so that the snake can walk on four legs. And you have to see this to believe it. That's our cute little puppy there. Here we go. So here's our snake.
Oh,
Now, I couldn't find a picture. It's a very long snake. And what we're looking at is a long, clear plastic tube with two legs in the front, two legs in the back, and a snake inside the tube. And there's sensors in the tube. And as the snake wriggle out of the tube, instead the tube picks up the signal and moves the legs so that the snake moves forward like it's walking. It's walking on those legs. You have Google snake robot once What in the World is over, and take a look at the video, because the video is unbelievable. So that's what he did. He decided he felt sorry for snakes. He has now given snakes the ability to walk on their own.
what a nice guy he is. Yep.
Yeah. So that's my question. What's worse than snakes on a plane? Now it's snakes standing in front of you in line with legs, waiting to go through the X-ray machine.
Yep.
The TSA. Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be waiting there before they get on the plane. And how do you X-ray a snake? I mean, if I have to wait for like a boa constrictor, you could be there for a half an hour by the time a boa constrictor walks through that whole X-ray machine.
I don't know.
That's right. They grab them by the neck. Some brave TSA person who's not grabbing something else on some other passenger grabs one of these snakes by the neck and holds it up in the X-ray machine. You know they're not going to do that. So then you make it all the way through the X-ray machine with this snake, and you go to pick up your belt. And what do? You pick up the snake instead. Then they're calling the cops, that you're abusing the snake. Who knows? They'll ride you out of there on the robot snake. I don't know. This hit me. This one hit me the wrong way. Snakes should not be walking. That's what I have to say. Snakes should not be walking. If the guy feels sorry for snakes, donate money to a zoo or a snake herpetology clinic. Don't go making snakes walk. We don't need that. That's not right, as one of my favorite comedians, Kevin Nealon, would say. That's not right. So here's some. So this is for our pet lovers out there, especially dog lovers. It's another people with too much time on their hands. I think since we've gone through COVID, it seems like a lot of people suddenly have time on their hands, and a lot of them are these well-educated people who used to get research grants and now they're not getting them. So they're working on other things. So this guy, Sam Sutton, he's at the University of West London. He's a lecturer of music at the university. He's decided to study dogs and put together a playlist for dogs who ride in cars. A playlist of songs that you could play so that your dog enjoys the ride as much as you do. And also,
Very nice.
second list of songs that you shouldn't play in your car so that your dog doesn't get upset when they're riding with you and pee in the back seat or whatever dogs do when they're upset while they're riding. Yeah, I know. So everybody out there listening, while I line things up here, think for a second what songs you would play to relax the dog while it's riding in your car. For those of you who are dog lovers, can you recall a song that came out where your dog started swaying to the music or howling? That's always a sign that there's now two John DiNallos trying to log in here, right? He's cloned himself. All right, so I'll give you some of the songs. I'll give you some of the songs. These are songs to play to put your dog in a good mood. The number one song, according to this, when he did research on dogs, he talked to veterinarians, the dog owners. He played the songs for dogs. Number one song, "How Deep Is Your Love" by the Bee Gees. Now, I wouldn't have picked that song.
I don't think so. No.
I know, yeah, Karen. I kind of agree with you. Number two, "No Woman, No Cry" by Bob Marley. So obviously that's a reggae song. Now, I like the rhythm of reggae, but I had, Rottweilers and Doberman. They didn't care for reggae at all. They're not. Number three, "Everything I Do, I'll Do It For You" by Bryan Adams. Now, I don't even remember that song, so I can't make a comment on that. But I never thought of Bryan Adams as someone who would sing to dogs. So you got me. And then here's one from our generation. "I Want to Know What Love Is" by Foreigner. Now, that's kind of a romantic song, kind of a rock song. Is it a dog song? I don't know. So I'm thinking, what song would I play? Number one, I would have played something with dog in it. I would play something by Snoop Dogg, right? Snoop Dogg, for example, or Three Dog Night.
Okay.
That would be something good. Now, worst songs to play for your dog. This is one of my all-time favorite songs, "Black Dog" by Led Zeppelin. Now that's a heavy rocker, and I can see where, the lead singer, Robert Plant, starts howling, and my dogs would be howling right along with him. Number two, "Back in Black" by AC/DC. Another wild song. I can see where dogs would not relax to Back in Black. And number three, and I can agree with this one as well, "Paranoid" by Black Sabbath. So those are not songs that you should play for your dog. I think we could figure that out for ourselves. So there's a couple more. I want to have everybody listening play along here, and you too, Karen. Tell me if you think this is a good song or a bad song to play.
Okay.
All right. So here's the song, "Smoke on the Water" by Deep Purple. Good or bad?
No.
No. Good choice. That's not a good song to play for your dog. They might feel bad, but I don't know. Okay, here's another one, "Dark Side of the Moon" by Pink Floyd. Progressive rock. Maybe the dogs like to lay on their backs and look at the stars and listen to Pink Floyd in the back seat of your car.
Okay, maybe.
I convinced you. That's a good song. I helped you along here. That's a good song to listen to for dogs to listen to. Now, here's one. See if you get this one. "Desperado." Now, the Eagles version, not the Linda Ronstadt version.
Oh, okay.
They didn't test the Linda Ronstadt version.
I mean, it's nice melody.
Yeah. Talks about fences. Dogs don't necessarily like fences.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't had a dog in a long time. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's a dog. That's a song that they recommended for dogs. Desperado.
Oh,
Now, me, if Desperado comes on by Linda Ronstadt, I have to pull over and sing. It's one of my all-time favorite songs. Okay, here's the last one. "Running with the Devil" by Van Halen. What do you think? Good or bad for your dog?
I don't think that would be a good one at all. Nothing from
choice.
Van Halen.
Oh, I don't know about that. I know I wouldn't play jump, with my dog in the back seat. I wouldn't.
Right. Yes.
But "Running with the Devil," not a good song to play. And finally, the worst song to play for your dog in the car is "Who Let the Dogs Out," because even dogs hate that song. So my dog, I put this on Facebook. My dog's favorite song was "The Barking Dog Polka," which was by Walter Ostanek and the Western Senator. And if I had audio, I would have played a clip of it because it's a funny dog song. Okay. Do I have any pictures up? No, I still see John is still attempting to join us for the second half of the show. Boy, he wants to play Bluff the Co-host really bad, I can tell.
He wants to win this week.
There you go. You watch. 5 minutes to go, John will be on with ready to play. Okay, so Elon Musk at the meeting of the stockholders of Tesla this week, Elon Musk said this. He said, "We have a very very talented team here. So I think Tesla, would continue to do very well, even if I was kidnapped by aliens or went back to my home planet." So, my people at Mysterious Universe, in the Mysterious Universe world, they were buzzing. Elon Musk is obviously an alien, and he just admitted it to his stockholders at Tesla. And my advice to them was to be careful what you wish for, because from what I heard from my sources are that he really is, and his planet doesn't want him either. So we're stuck with him. They're not going to let him come back. So be nice to Elon Musk. Okay, here's another odd. As I said, we had some really odd animal stories this week. So this is one from England, from Oxfordshire. 20-year veteran of chicken farming was shocked when one of her chickens laid this. And I'm going to put the picture up for Karen here, not the snake, but there we go. So her little girl is holding up a round egg, not an oval egg, but a completely spherical egg, fairly large too, a very large round egg that this particular chicken ate. Now the mom, the owner of the chicken, said that it's a 1 in a billion chance for a chicken to lay a round egg, which is
It's actually a hen who laid the eggs.
a hen. I'm sorry, a hen. Did I write that down here? She had a hen. No. so you would think, okay, well that's great that you got a round egg, big deal. Then she said she already got an offer on eBay for $585 for one egg, one round egg. So right away, that puts a lot of pressure on the hen. I think that also puts a lot of pressure on the rooster, because I'm going to guess the rooster may have been doing something funky to cause the hen to lay that round egg. So she really needs the chick. She needs to put cameras up, those special cameras, and watch and see what's going on in the coop and who's responsible for these round eggs. Now, she didn't say what she did with it. I'm going to assume that they ate it or sold it. If they sold it, maybe somebody else ate it. And what would you eat with a round egg would be my question. Now I have
a round piece of ham.
A round piece of ham, a piece of Canadian bacon. There you go. I said sausage patties and pancakes.
Oh yeah.
I think Denny's had that round egg, sausage patties, and pancakes. That was the round slam breakfast. Do they still have the Grand Slam breakfast? I haven't been to Denny's for breakfast in a while.
I don't know.
Okay, so Karen, you know who Yoda is. Everybody knows who.
Yeah,
Yoda,
sure.
or Baby Yoda. Everybody knows Baby Yoda now. Baby Yoda has its own show. So Yoda is based on an actual living creature. I'm going to put a picture of it up while we talk about this creature. It's called there you go, cute little bug-eyed nocturnal primate called the tarsier. I believe they're in Central and South America, if I'm not mistaken. So were studying them in the jungle, and they found out that these tarsiers, they've never heard this before, they can actually sing like opera singers. They can hit extremely high notes in their singing, and they use it for what else? To attract mates. So what they found is that the little Yoda primate that couldn't hit high notes or sang out of key had a harder time finding a mate than the ones that were in key and could hit, the Pavarotti kind of note, which had me thinking, if opera worked like that, I'd go to more opera performances just to see who wins and who loses in the bedroom because of how high the notes they sing. But yeah, that's what they do. So the poor little animals, they watch it. They listen to them sing, then they watch them have sex. What a job! What a job! Everybody's complaining they can't find a job. People get paid to do that. People, they get paid to watch these little Yoda monkeys sing and have sex. You could be doing that as well.
That's called porno.
No, it's not. It's animal. It's zoology, Karen. Come on.
I see.
All right. So it doesn't look like we're going to get John here. So I'm going to have a sports story here in honor of John.
Okay.
At the World 2022 Raw Powerlifting Federation American Pro Competition, I know he follows that. Tamara Walcott of Maryland broke a Guinness World Record when she lifted 1,620 pounds across 3 lifts. She did a squat, a bench press, and a deadlift. And I have a picture of her because that's pretty impressive. But there she is doing the bench press.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I believe. No, that would be a deadlift. So as my buddy Don down in Florida pointed out, that didn't even include the weight of her earrings and the rest of her jewelry she had on, just the weights themselves, which is very impressive. So how strong is this woman? She let everybody else compete first, and when they were all done competing and they posted their highest score, she says, "Hold my keg of beer and watch this," because she doesn't just drink it. Yeah, she's drinking right out of the keg. She can lift up an entire keg of beer. This amazed me. She said she only started lifting weights 4 years ago, and now she has a world record. 4 years ago, she did it to help her lose weight and get into shape. Now she lifts weights just because she likes to scare men and win the competitions like that. She is one strong woman. I've got to say, that is just unbelievable. All right, let's go. I want to talk about this UFO photograph here because I know everybody's interested in it. If you haven't seen this photo, in fact, I'm gonna put it right up here while I'm talking about it. There we go. Okay. So, and I'll give you the story about it. This is considered in the UFO world, in ufology, as it's called, the best UFO photograph ever taken. And Karen, as you can see, it's a little grainy, but it was taken in 1990, and it was using film rather than digital camera.
Right.
So I'm going to give a bit of an excuse for it. And I do have another picture where they enhanced it, so you can see what it looked like. But on August 4th, 1990, 2 men were walking home. I believe they were chefs on A9 in Perth, in England, and they claimed to see this diamond-shaped object in the sky. That's the best description I can give of it as well. They said that they watched it for 10 minutes. It hovered over them, and you can see in the background there's a jet flying behind it. That is an RAF jet from the Royal Air Force. Now, the Royal Air Force happens to use this corridor frequently to get back and forth between bases. So it's not unusual to see an RAF jet flying back and forth. However, it's very unusual to see a UFO, but to see the two of them together in a photo, you're naturally going to connect the dots and think they must be related. So they were lucky enough to take 6 photographs of the UFO and the plane. So now what are you going to do? They didn't know what to do. This is 1990. So they went to the local newspaper, the Daily Record. And this is in Scotland. I'm sorry, Perth, Scotland. They go to the Daily Record in Scotland, and they take it to a reporter. And the reporter said, "Oh, let me see those." So they hand him the 6 negatives and the only prints that they had. And the reporter said, "These are pretty interesting. I'm going to call the Ministry of Defense and let them know about it." So he picks up the phone and he calls which is their Pentagon. He calls the Ministry of the Defense. And the person who answered the phone says, "Don't do anything. We'll be right there." And they send a guy over there immediately to look at the photos. And this guy takes them, all the photos, all the negatives, takes them with him. He tells the Daily Record, "Don't print anything of this. Don't tell anybody of this." He tells the 2 guys, "Nothing happened. You didn't see anything." And he leaves. Okay, so that's the story. That was 30 years ago. Since then, no one has ever seen these photographs. Now, there's been rumors that the photographs exist. There's been drawings made of the photographs that have leaked. In 2008, the Ministry of Defense released information about the photographs, but they did not release the photos themselves. And they said, "Oh yeah, we know what you're looking for. The negatives have been considered by our staff, who has established that the jet aircraft was a Harrier, but we've reached no definite conclusion regarding the large object." Now, very famous connection, a big connection between this photo, and let me put the other photo up here. This is an enhanced version of the photograph. So now you can see that certainly looks like a spaceship.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it would look like a diamond shape, or possibly even a saucer with a bulge in it, like a top almost, a UFO. So Nick Pope, who is a famous UFO researcher, he worked for the Ministry of Defense for a long time as a UFO researcher. He had said that in an office in the Ministry of Defense in England, there was a poster of this photo, made from this particular photo. And he said it was on the wall. I don't remember if it was his office or not. But he said one day a superior officer came walking through and saw the poster and said, "You can't have that," and tore it down and said, "I don't ever see this on your wall again," and left with it. Now, for fans of the X-Files, that was the inspiration for the poster that Fox Mulder had on his wall, which I happen to have a photograph of. Here's a picture of Fox and Mulder, Fox and Scully. There's the flying saucer. I want to believe is what was on that particular poster. So it's very famous. Everybody saw it. That's the story. That's the connection. That was the inspiration for that particular poster on the X-Files. So what happens next? So an investigative reporter by the name of Dr. David Clark he wants to break it. I'm going to put the other one back up here because it's just so unbelievable. So Dr. David Clark starts searching for anybody associated. He can't find with the photo. He can't find the 2 guys. But he finds a gentleman by the name of Craig Lindsay, who is a retired RAF officer. And when he contacts him, he finds out that he is the RAF officer who went and took the photographs. And he says, "Can I meet with you?" And the guy said, "Sure." He shows up at the door, and Craig Lindsay opens the door, and I'm going to quote. He says to him, I quote, "I have been waiting for someone to contact me about this for more than 30 years. It turns out that the officer kept one of the photographs in a book. He pulls out a book, Great Aircraft of the World, and he opens it up and hands the photograph to Dr. Craig and said, "Here's the photo you've been looking for." Saved it for 30 years. He was afraid that he was going to break some law, I don't have to tell anybody in the United States about all the controversy about having classified documentation. That's basically what he has here is a classified photo from the military of what looks
Right.
like a UFO. Yeah. So, so he's the guy who went to the Daily Record. He took the negatives, but he kept one copy for himself and took it to his superior officer, and they took it and told him, don't ever talk to anybody about this again. He finally said, I'm 83 years old. I don't care anymore. And he was impressed that this reporter found him. So he showed him to him. And so it looks like it's color, but it's actually a black and white photo that's been slightly colorized and a little blurry because it's on film. But so it's this diamond shaped object. So what everybody wants to know is, what is this object that we're looking at? And Clark took it to a photography expert first, the photograph, and he said that it's definitely a legitimate photograph. Nothing's been doctored on it. It doesn't appear to be a fake. It appears to be there's a real object flying above the ground with a jet behind it. So as far as the photo expert is concerned, it's a real photo. Now, what Clark found out is that in 1990, the United States was rumored to be testing a spy plane, an experimental spy plane. The project was called Aurora. It was a hypersonic spy plane capable of unbelievable speed, whatever that meant at the time. So Nick Pope, the UFO guy, says that he heard about this, and he was involved with a meeting with Donald Rice, who at one time was the Secretary of the Air Force for the United States. He was in a meeting when this guy, this director, Dr. Rice, was questioned about whether that photo was an actual photo of Aurora. And they said he was incensed by the question and moved on. He would refuse to answer the question. So that, in the UFO world, that means it's definitely it. So what Clark and Lindsay, the RAF guy, are hoping is that now that the photo is out and he was brave enough to admit it, they're hoping that if the two guys are still alive that took the photo, they'll come out and they'll talk about it. And maybe somebody else within the Ministry of Defense will come out and we'll get more information as to what it was. If it were a secret United States aircraft, or if it was a real spaceship from another planet. We don't know, but
Well, they can come on this show and talk about it too.
they certainly can. I'm the one who broke the story. It
Yep.
is still trending high over at mysteriousuniverse.org. So, our buddy John, who's not here, always complains about blurry photographs. There's a pretty clear photograph of something that looks like a spaceship from another planet. An awful lot of
Absolutely.
people are saying, we don't know what this is, but it's not something from Earth. So, if you ask me, I lean towards the Aurora story to the spy plane because there's so many triangular spy planes that people are seeing now that this could certainly be a predecessor to it. But that was just such a fun.
That's through the browser.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow,
this
there's
is
I hear
John's
John's
voice.
there. So
Hear John.
I told you he'd be here just in time.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see you.
Can
I can
see
You can see us?
I can see you guys and I hear you guys.
Okay,
But you guys can't see me, which might be a benefit actually.
I guess so. You're right. Yeah. Can you see the photograph?
I was just going to
Yeah.
send you a text message. To me, that is an outstanding example of an authentic photograph. Like you said, Paul, the person did his research or whatever on that. Now, that is not in any category close to like the Bigfoot things or whatever. To me, here's what's key for me, for what that's worth. You have a fighter jet, okay, that is in close proximity. So you can see that. You can see the earth, see the terrain, right? To me, that's photographic evidence. And I mean, I'm just one person, but that's convincing. Now, we need the Bigfoot people to do something and put a person in scale that is a little more defined, and then I'll be on board with the Bigfoot printing or the Bigfoot photographs or what have you.
Oh, ye of little faith. The
Well, hey, I have to be consistent, folks. I mean, Karen and Paul, I have to be consistent. I can't all of a sudden say,
I know.
oh, I've been saying this for the last couple of years. I don't believe any of the Bigfoot stuff. And now I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I just had a revelation. I just had an epiphany that, hey, Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot is something that you have to understand. But
there
anyway.
you go. I mentioned this in my article on Mysterious Universe that so many people contact me and after I write articles and say, if there's no pick, it doesn't exist. I mean, that's a mantra that everybody says. So here's your picture. Here's your picture. Now, does it exist or not? The ball is back in your court. It could certainly be a plane, a secret plane. It could be an awfully sophisticated balloon. Could be a spacecraft. We don't know. But boy, I agree. It's the best UFO picture I've ever seen. It's not clearly a fake. So
really,
well,
exactly.
Now that John is here, we run out of time for What in the World of Sports with John. John, I have the photos of it ready, and we'll use your sport next week.
That sounds good. Sorry about the mix-up with our technology here. We're just trying to get this thing squared away. So
entirely understandable. I know you're still using one of those diesel-powered computers, so.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's proven with people that I used to work with and people that know me for a long time that sometimes it is not operator error, but a lot of times it is. So, I'm in that world. I'm in that world, folks. So anyway.
That's right. Yeah. Picture this, people out there in podcast land is John standing next to his computer, pulling on a rope like he's trying to start the mower. That's the kind of computer you're dealing with.
That's that is very symbolic, Paul and Karen. That'd be very symbolic, but we'll get it squared away for next week for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's great that you made it for Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game show.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay,
we were practicing. So.
Okay, in fact, I guess I can take that photograph down there. There we go. So Bluff the Co-host is we have three stories similar to the ones that I've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference: the stories that we talked about this afternoon, including the UFO, are real. Some of the stories in Bluff the Co-host are real. Some may be bluffed. It's up to Karen and John and those of you playing at home to decide which ones are real, which ones are bluffed. Could be one, could be all, could be none. We out. Las Vegas, place your bets now. Karen and John, although we can't see him, we know he's playing. Put your hand on the buzzer and let's get right to story number one. If you've ever spent time asleep on a seedy barroom floor, then woke up and thought, this smell would make a great ice cream flavor, then today is your lucky day. The maker of an alcohol-infused ice cream has teamed up with a major national brewery to create an ice cream treat called, get ready, Ice Cream Dive Bar that it says was inspired by the smell of a dive bar floor, stale beer, peanut shells, and cigarette smoke. To make that a little less disgusting, the ice cream makers have added dark chocolate and sticky caramel. They won't say what inspired the sticky part. Each ice cream dive bar contains 5% alcohol, and a 6-pack of them sells for $36. When they're gone, you can still smell the smell of the wooden bar floor by sniffing the stick. So, an ice cream bar that smells like the floor of a seedy dive bar. What do you say, Karen? Real? And has the alcohol as well. What do you say, real or bluff?
This story just gave me the world's worst headache. I had to take my glasses off because my eyes are burning. It's better be fake because the thought of it is disgusting.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
right.
It's a fake.
Karen says it's a bluff. All right, John, how about you?
Well, I'm with Karen on this one, and actually, this is in the category of you pray that it's not true because, how how it is disgusting. I mean, how would anyone find that to be appealing or appetizing? That kind of thing. I mean, I just pray that it's not true.
Okay, so John says it's a bluff as well. And that's coming from someone who probably has smelled that smell a few times.
Yes, I think I have. It's safe to say that is true, Paul.
All right, so Karen and John both say that the ice cream dive bar is a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, get ready to be disgusted. That's a real product.
No.
I'm gonna give you the name of the company so you can check it out. Miller Beer is making it. Yeah.
Miller Beer. Wow.
Miller Beer. They
An
teamed up
icon
with
in the brewing industry.
Isn't that
Well, I'll
amazing?
tell you what.
Yeah, an ice cream company. The ice cream company is the one that came up with the
Concept.
the concept. Yeah. And the
Yeah, I guess that's what you
wow.
would call, for lack of
So-
a better word.
They must have done marketing research to find people who that smell is obviously appealing to. And
I would. Is it being test marketed now, or it's not even that
as
far
we
along?
speak, sure. You want to get on the list?
No, clearly not. What I'm saying is, okay, if we did a timeline from today, which is August 16th, 2022, I'd like to see what the sales are on August 16th of 2023.
That's
I'll just put it. Yeah, I'll put a note in my notebook on that. You know, to
You do that.
just circle back with that and see how Miller does with that. I mean, oh my gosh! Of course, nothing surprises me anymore. But I mean, I don't know. I just think it's. I don't know.
I think that time travel guy should have come back from 2900 and warned us about that.
There you go. There
You
you
should
go.
have. Absolutely.
Okay, so the score so far is 0-0. Let's get right to story number 2. Proving you can't get away with anything anymore, a woman in England decided to get fancied up for her overnight date with her boyfriend by fancying up her feet with some nice fake white toenails. After they had sex, she noticed something sharp in bed and realized one big toenail had fallen off. She quietly grabbed it and, without turning the light on, found her purse with the glue and stuck it back on. The next morning, she was happy until she looked at her feet and noticed that the nail on her big toe was purple rather than white. That's right. Her boyfriend was cheating on her with another woman who had the same problem. Needless to say, they're done. Moral of the story, beware of loose women with loose toenails. All right, so the woman who caught her boyfriend cheating on her by finding someone else's fake toenail in the bed. If I had a nickel for every time that happened to me, what do you say, John?
You know, I really love Bluff the Co-host because we really run the gamut of things that are truly unbelievable, things that are improbable, and things that, you know, as you say, are possible. If it wasn't a purple toenail, I would say it's true. But because it's purple, and I know a lot of women have different colors now, of course, for their nails, the toes or fingernails, right? But I'm going to say it's false. I'm going to say it's false.
John says it's a bluff based on the color purple. All right?
That is correct.
There
That is
we go.
correct.
Okay, so Karen, what do you think? Have you ever worn fake toenails, by the way?
No,
I
I've
think it's
never even
personal.
heard of fake toenails.
I didn't know there was such a thing, but
No, I'm gonna
okay.
say it's a bluff. It's not real. Bluff.
So Karen says that the fake toenail catching your boyfriend having sex or cheating is a bluff. John, you said it's a bluff as well, right?
I think it's a bluff also, Paul. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have 2 bluffs on that story. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, get ready to get disgusted. Once again, that is a real story.
Well, I think,
Oh.
Toenail is real.
you know, Karen, I think there's a theme here. It's like the more preposterous, the more true. So I think be wary here on the third one, because I
I
think the
think
third
I'm
one
going to
probably
be
would be
very
in the same-
wary.
Would be,
Okay,
would be in the same vein.
All
here. It'd be
right.
the same. Okay, that's what I'm thinking anyway.
Okay, all right. Let's see. What's the score here? 0-0. The 2 experts over here who are working on
Well,
their
we have to tally something here, Karen. Yeah, we have to somehow salvage, some kind of victory. So let's get
Yes,
the last
we do. We do.
Okay. All right. Here's your chance. I'll read it slowly so you can think while we're doing it. Story number 3. Oh, by the way, points are double, but it doesn't really matter since the score is 0-0. Okay. There's butt dialing, and then there's giant butt dialing. A zoo in Oklahoma experienced the latter recently when the local police showed up with a SWAT team after receiving a series of rapid 911 calls from the zoo. When they arrived, they found out no one at the zoo was in trouble, though humans, that is. The calls were still coming in, so the cops used their GPS to track them to the ape house, where one of those baboons with the big colorful red butt was using its colorful red butt to bounce on the phone, which was stuck on the 911 screen and constantly calling them for help. That's the same thing the cops had to do, since they needed a bamboo expert to go in and get the phone, but the bamboo expert was gone for the day. Unfortunately, the phone belonged to the baboon keeper, who had accidentally lost it in the pen. They managed to call his wife on another phone, who woke him up. He came in and ended the baboon butt dial SWAT emergency. All right, so baboon butt dialing 911. Real or bluff? What do you say, Karen?
This sounds almost real. So because it sounds almost real, I'm going to say it's real.
Okay. All right. Karen. Karen says it's real. John, how about you? I can't wait to hear your argument.
You know, here's what I think about this story. First of all, you know, the visual that you have of this, okay, it's hilarious. Okay, it's just hysterical. Okay, the visual, I think, at least the visual that I have of this story, and I'm going to go with it because it kind of, like, as I said earlier, it kind of goes with the vein of these things being very, very preposterous, and I think this is preposterous in a way, but I think it is plausible. I think you could find a baboon doing that, and I think you could see the baboon zookeeper, you know, dropping his phone and, you know, gets into the area of where the baboon is. So I'm going to say it's real.
Okay, so John admits that he has an imagination that could see a baboon butt dialing a phone.
Yes, I do.
With his big red butt. Okay. So let me make sure I've got this straight before I check with the judges. Karen says it's real, and John says it's real.
Yepper.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's check with the judges. And the judges say, congratulations to that writer. He is 3 for 3. That is a bluff.
No,
There's no such thing.
it was the only real one.
Boy, you know, I tell you what, Karen, we got set up by who?
We
who
did.
Who writes these questions, anyways? Paul, I know you deliver them. Do you write these questions? I'm just curious about that.
I get them from an alien.
Oh, it dropped down from the spacecraft with the RAF fighter in the picture.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. I'm the photographer. So let's see. I'm going to gloat one more time here. The score this week on Bluff the Co-Host was 0-0. No correct answers by either Karen or John. Hopefully, those of you playing at home did better on those 3 stories. And if you enjoyed playing Bluff the Co-Host, please join us again next week on What in the World. I want to thank John, my old friend, for making it through to fighting those technical bugs off and at least getting here verbally, auditorially, however we would describe it. So thanks again, John, for being here, and hopefully
you're welcome, Paul. Sorry I was late, both you
Okay.
and Karen, but next
all
week
right,
I should
we'll
be
see you next week. And as always, I want to thank Karen Hale, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our producer and co-host. Thank you, Karen, for everything you do at New Cleveland Radio. Please visit newclevelandradio.net. After you've listened to us, listen to some of the other great podcasts we had. Something for everybody on newclevelandradio.net. Also visit midseriesuniverse.org for some of the other great stories that I found there over the past week. And on that note, this has been a lot of fun, even though we didn't have John for the whole time. So I hope everybody listening out there had a great time as well. And please come back and join us next week on What in the World. And on that note, I'll say bye-bye.
We will be
Goodbye.
back.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Have a good